I need to replace my brake light bulb because it is blown.
In the owner's manual, often there's a section at the back that has all the specifications of everything to do with your vehicle, and in my case, there's even a section that lists all the bulb wattages for every bulb in the vehicle. So I can turn there and look for my stop lamp, and it will tell me exactly what kind of bulb I need.
Now that I know the model number of the bulb, I can head on down to my local automotive parts supplying store and pick the exact one that I need in order to replace it in the lens housing, which in my car, you need to take off the whole lens assembly in order to access the bulb. And in order to do that, there's a removable panel in the boot, and then using a 10mm spanner or an adjustable shifter, I need to remove 4 bolts by unscrewing them before I can take the lens out of the housing. And then I also need to remove the electrical cable, and it simply just unclips very carefully. And then there's a rubber grommet that needs to be pushed through the hole in order for the lens to be taken out. And I need to be really careful here because I don't want to wreck the grommet, because it protects any of the weather from getting inside the car. And once that's undone, I can simply pull it through and take the whole lens out of the back of the car. Now that I have the lens out, I can access the bulbs, and to do that I firstly put it on a towel so that it doesn't scratch the lens, and then the bulb assembly can be unscrewed by simply turning it anti-clockwise, and then the bulb is a bayonet bulb which needs to be pushed in and again turned anti-clockwise in order to be taken out. With the old one removed, I can now put the new one in and just reverse the process by pushing it in and turning it clockwise, and then taking the bulb housing and pushing it into the lens and turning it clockwise, making sure that it clicks in place nicely. The bulb installed, I can now return the lens back to the lens housing in the back of the car by feeding the electrical cable through the hole and making sure each of the guides and the bolts slot into the holes where they live. And that grommet that we looked at earlier needs to be poked through very carefully, making sure it's not split, and that each of the recesses fit around the metal of the chassis. Okay. Once that's done, I like to reattach one nut just to hold the lens in place so it doesn't fall out, because I want to test that the bulbs are actually working. And to do that, I need to reconnect the electricals, and once that's done, I can go through and press the brake pedal to make sure that the new bulbs are working properly. Now that I'm happy with the bulbs, I can continue installing the lens back in place by reattaching the other 3 nuts. Then using my 10mm spanner to tighten all 4 nuts so that they're nice and snug, making sure that I don't over tighten them or strip the threads. Then I can replace the cover of the recess and make sure everything is nice and snug.
I put the bulb back in the lens, and I've reinstalled it, and it's working as it should. So now I am good to go.